good.
Alright, what up
I
everybody?
need to shut something down.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on.
This is Bagman
Go on ahead,
1987.
start.
I am back with some Kerbal. I got a buddy who's going to check it out too. And I was streaming this a little bit ago, about a half an hour ago. And my goodness, I am enjoying this new expansion. They added some really cool stuff.
Alright.
Welcome back, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So you missed out earlier on my previous stream, man. They added missions, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But
Oh, nice.
they had one where your craft starts malfunctioning and you have to go rendezvous with a satellite and then get a Kerbal in the satellite to send over a signal to reboot your craft. And then you have to deorbit the craft and the satellite with the Kerbal inside to get them back to safety.
Yes.
And it was very cool. I was like, this is good stuff,
Great.
but dude, check out some of the stuff they've added. It's crazy.
Oh.
So we've got why am I not thinking of the words right now? Clearly it is almost 11 at night.
Yeah.
We've got Soyuz capsules now. Pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
Enjoying that. They're really neat looking. You can make some really wacky, neat looking craft now with these. I think they have like nodes. There's like a coupling node now. It's like an extending an inflatable airlock, and I've seen them mounted on the sides of it several times, like where they stuck them over here.
Oh.
And it actually extends outward, like the adapter, lengthy adapter version of it. Very cool.
It is cool.
They made all the decouplers short now. No more of this like a million miles tall decoupler screwing up your center of mass and everything.
It's realistic colors too.
Yeah, isn't it great? Check this out. I'll put it on the pad. Actually, the internal view is really cool. The view from the Kerbal is really neat. They've done some good work. Now they added some fun new stuff. The Mark III pod is now fully modeled after the Apollo spacecraft, so it's a command module. It has its own RCS system now, and the interior's been redesigned. Awesome.
Oh. Wow.
There we go. The interior has been redesigned. It now looks like the interior of a command module. I'm really enjoying. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see it. All cool.
Yeah. They also gave us a Gemini capsule. We have a Mark II pod now. We have a Gemini capsule now, which I've been waiting for this for so long, because it's like, there have been so many times when I'm like, do I just have like a slightly lighter two-person pod so I can have two Kerbals to do something and bring them back safely? Not have to have that hefty three-man pod. But then they also added a MIM, the Lunar Excursion Module. Look how cool it looks.
Oh.
It's fantastic. And it has everything. It has its own RCS system.
Oh, nice.
Own fuel. It has enough fuel to get you off the surface with a spark engine. It has a mount on the bottom for a spark engine that'll sit inside of a fairing in between the stages. It's on. Actually, I was double checking it versus the one that I built, and it is only slightly overfueled compared to the profile I was using. So it's pretty much on the money as far as what it's supposed to be and what it does.
Yeah.
And then the interior of it is fantastic. Add real quick. So I'm definitely going to now design and fly a new Apollo spacecraft using these new parts.
You have to do it.
I have to do it. I have to do all. I have to see if I can do any maneuvers more accurately now too. Although I had that pretty much dialed in, except for takeoff, I couldn't do accurately.
Well, with the mission designer, you could take out some of the drudgery of that, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, you can do some. I'll show you. You can do some amazing stuff with the mission designer. I haven't even played with yet, so we might have to play with it. There's actually there is already a like a Gemini mission. And they modeled the interior of this after the interior of the lunar excursion module. Pretty
Nice.
good. They did a good job with it. Yeah, a lot of fun things. They also added some new, like bigger fuel tanks. All the fuel tanks can be painted now. Like you can change what color they are. Like there's no more orange tank. It's a tank that can be the orange tank, but it doesn't have to be the orange tank. And they added this bad boy, which is the bottom of a Saturn V, and it actually has engine mounts. And then I can show you, this is really cool. So we have engines now. So here's a big giant engine. Way too big for this. Well, now there's a lot of engines where you can change what they are. So you can make it a bare engine with no shroud, and now it fits down there.
Oh, okay.
And that's the bottom of your Saturn V rocket. They also have a like a northern latitude, like Russian launch site platform to fire missions off of, which you could do some really wacky inclined missions with that because it's on a really, really high latitude. So you could get really cheap inclined orbits with that.
Very cool.
Yeah. But let me show you this mission thing because it's pretty legit.
It's just a ton more options right from the developers. You don't need mods.
Exactly. Although it is perfectly happy to work with your mods if you want to make that a thing in your own custom missions. Because you can actually specify in the missions like what you're allowed to build with and what not, and what the requirements are. Like, let's see. It's funny too, so they have, this is the Race to Space, which is the first pack of missions they've done. So you have the Dawn of the Space Age, Trouble in the Void, and then they have To the Moon via Minmus, so they actually go to Minmus first, because they're Kerbals and they would be silly like that.
Yeah.
And then they do a Gemini mission. Hi there. Which, I haven't even checked this out yet. We've got, let's see. Launch 2 spacecraft, then rendezvous and perform a docking operation. You actually have to launch an Agena into a 300-kilometer circular orbit. Then you launch the Gemini. Yeah, you have to launch it into a specific orbit and then rendezvous with it. That's really neat. Now, the other fun bit is they have a mission builder. I have barely even scratched the surface of what you can do with this. It's crazy.
The objective layout is really nice.
Yeah.
As far as what stages go where. Yeah. You can do like at a glance, especially when you know you're going to be getting the player created missions. You'll kind of tell what kind of craziness you're in for.
Dude, you can set what time you want a mission to start. So like if I'm making a mission where somebody needs to go to Duna, I can actually set it to very close to an optimal transfer window to make that mission easier, or close to a very unoptimal one to make it harder. You have a lot of start options for your mission start. You can have like descriptions that pop up, timed events, triggered events. You can use funds.
Oh, so you can have something be like right off the bat some sort of catastrophe they
Yep.
have to handle or something. Cool.
All these different nodes that control it. Set what orbital parameters you want it to be. That kind of thing. You can actually have fly-through points. Like one of the missions had a fly-through point at a certain altitude that you could fly through for bonus
Oh,
points.
nice.
So like, wow, this is amazing. No, this is going to take time to figure out. There's so much stuff to mess with. You can explode a part. You can have a triggered part explosion. So, and then you can have, so you need to build a vessel. And you can make that be creator built, so it'll be built here in the creation thing. So you create a new vessel, and you can actually go to the spaceplane hangar.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I could design a thing. But in the interest of committing rocket
Massively
science,
extends the game.
yes. I don't even begin to. This is gonna take some time to figure out. It's gonna be crazy. That'll be a thing I do now. But in the interest of committing rocket science, I'm gonna do one of the pre-built ones.
Go ahead.
And I'm really excited about there being a Gemini mission, so I'm gonna do that. I want to see. So they're saying I have to do it in Gina. I wonder if they already have it for me, or if I have to build it. Let's see.
So these missions get
Oh yeah, look.
uploaded to like a community. I thought it said community channel or something like that.
I think that might be what it does. So I've got an Agena vehicle here. And I just need to freaking launch it. So, let's do it. Oh, cool. They even had the thrust to weight ratio accurate. Oh, I love it. That makes me really happy. Do a roll program. Very cool. Oh, this thing flies really well.
Cool. Oh wow, yeah, I just saw the response.
Got to fill a fuel tank. What? You crazy Kerbals, you. Maybe a little over aggressive with my pitch over, but that should be fine.
So I'm guessing, because you know these parts were designed to work well together, you kind of, especially with something like this, you kind of avoid something like the you know, like jiggliness that they can. Rockets can sometimes have in this game, you know, where the parts aren't quite jiving.
They've kind of been fixed. That issue's been fixed a lot in recent patches.
Yeah.
They're a lot more rigid with how they connect now.
It's good.
Yeah. No, that's been an improvement that was much needed. Knock some of this inclination out. Almost out of fuel on this stage. And almost out of the atmosphere. That's not too bad of a thing. Alright, that's a 300-kilometer orbit. I gotta get it into orbit. Oh cool, it shows me my objective orbit too. I like that display. It gives you an idea of what direction you should be going, just in case you're not.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Digging it. Nope, too much. There we go. Close enough. This does not have any, Okay, sweet. Oh man, they even kept it. It's got RCS for orbital maneuvering.
Huh.
That's really fun. Digging that. Alright, so we're about 5 minutes out from doing the burn. So, let me time warping here. Looks really good too. I'm really enjoying this vehicle. Alright, we're 14 seconds from the burn.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, going. A little wobbly.
RCS looks especially cool on this thing.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's fairly well balanced. It's not perfect, but that's, I think, the point, is to make it a little tricky. Okay. Alright, we've reached the planned orbit. Cool, so it was close enough that it's happy with it. Oh man, look at even, they have triggers that take you where they want you to go. So now we're back at the launch for the Gemini.
Oh, sweet.
Very cool. Oh, look how cool they made it look. Oh, that's so good. That's so very good.
Oh, nice.
I like it. I'm gonna use my trick. We're launching into a 300-kilometer orbit. At wants me in a circular orbit, which is kind of a bummer, but what can you do? Actually, I could probably... Let's see. Let's just launch now. Clearly it wants me to launch now. Let's do just that. I love that they're doing these historically accurate thrust-to-weight ratios.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it wants me to go into a parking orbit, and they probably have it timed so that it'll be advantageous to be there now. I have a useful trick I use to do rendezvous really easily, but I'm just gonna wing it. Pitch over. Come on. Come on. Alright, this looks good so far. About there, I think. Inclination looks good. This thing is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'll throttle down just a little bit so I don't overshoot. Okay. There's 250. And that does put us in a good spot, because then we can just catch up to it. That looks good. Hi there. Just flying one of the new missions. This is a Gemini recreation that I was pretty excited about. We are about 5 minutes out from this burn. Time travel here. Three minutes and 30 seconds. go back to real time now. How much delta V do I have remaining? Oh, way more than enough. And T minus 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and doing my burn. Pretty short one. And almost done. Cool. Plan and execute transfer. Yep. Yep. Okay. Now I wonder. I guess I'm using this because there aren't any more engines. Okay. I think what they did in the real world was they got close with the thrusters, the actual engines, and then they used the RCS to do the final approach.
Oh.
Let's see. So it's over there. Let's look. Get an idea of where we're at here. We need to find an advantageous point in the orbit to do this. We'll probably want to wait a little while for us to catch up. That time control. There it is. What if we just do a really big burn? How much delta V do I have left to play with anyway? 372? Not too bad.
Should be enough, right?
Oh yeah, it's just a question of finding the right point in the orbit to try. Maybe further forward. Oh my gosh, let me destroy that place. Thank you. That's a little closer. Yeah, I have a feeling that's getting closer. Yep, that's what it's looking like. It's just too expensive to try to do a more direct approach, so go around one and see what our prospects are.
Let's take it around the block.
Yeah, you know, go for a spin. In retrospect, I could have used my rendezvous trick and we would have already been there. This one weird trick. Astronauts
Mission
hate
mode
him.
hates him.
Yeah. We're gonna go further. Let's see, maybe over here. How are we doing? We want this to be efficient. Oh yeah, see, there we go. We're starting to get a little on the closer side. Still not quite. So let's say right about there. Bet you we're going to be pretty close. Yep. That. A little more like it. Wrong way. I might need to go around just one more, actually. Oh, wait a minute. What's that close approach? 10 kilometers? I'm gonna go around to here. I'm gonna plot it for right about here. I think I'm gonna get a nice, easy rendezvous out of it. Yep. There it is. Found it. 1.3. That's what I wanted to see. Much more like it. Well, let's warp back over there and get ready to do this maneuver. Okay, so we were about 3 minutes out from the burn. I'll do a quick save just to be safe. Speed up time a little bit. Okay, about a minute if we were in real time. I'm confused as to... I guess it's just mostly a... Yeah, we're slightly diving. That's what we're doing. Not much. An interesting burn. We're about T-minus 10 seconds. 2, 1, and burning. And throttling way down. Wow, that was short. Perfect. Okay, we're on our way. Close approach at 1.5 kilometers. Exactly where I want to be. So, wonder how different our speeds are going to be at that point. Let's see. I'm going to get kind of closer. Okay, our relative velocity should not be that significant. Hi there. We should be able to see it. Yep, there it is. Point retrograde. I'm in target mode, so I'm now maneuvering relative to the target. Let's see how far we are from actually close approach. 2 minutes out. Speed up time a little bit. About 1 minute and 40 seconds of real time. This is going to be a super brief burn. I've gone back to real time for it. Minus 40 seconds. Yeah, I mean, at full thrust, this is going to take about 3 seconds. I'll probably do it at about 1/3 of the thrust. Okay. We have rendezvoused. Well, I don't think I'm going to go to the moon with this vehicle. But we could definitely do that. Let's finish up this mission real quick. I think I can slap something together. Let's see. I don't think I need all that RCS. Definitely one thing I don't need. Can I switch target to the target? I can. Do I even have a docking port? Am I supposed to just get close to it? It says to dock. What? I don't know. That's very interesting. Well, I'm going to approach it. I don't know that anything's going to happen because I don't see a docking or a docking port anywhere here.
Yeah, that is strange.
Junior. I'm wondering if it's... I'm looking around. I'm wondering if it's like stuffed in some really weird spot.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Well, hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get up to some shenanigans in Vermintide too.
Alright, man. Have fun.
Thank you. No, thanks for showing me this. This is really great. Definitely worth it. If you're into Kerbal, it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Adds
No,
a lot.
they've improved some stuff. Let's approach this thing.
I'll have to take a closer look at it next time you do this. So let me
Oh
know.
yeah, dude. There's a whole there's actually a build the Apollo mission, so.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Alrighty, well, have a good stream. Later,
Yeah,
man.
dude. Later, man. What's it doing when it gets up there? When you say it's not into like a reasonable orbit, is it ending up in like a really eccentric orbit where it's not really circular? So there's a trick I can actually show you with that. Let me control this rendezvous real quick. I'm not 100% certain it's going to accomplish anything, because again, I still feeling like there's no docking port on the vehicle I'm trying to dock with. Nothing I can see. Slight change of trajectory here. This thing handles really well. I'll give it to them, they designed it well. Well, okay, I'll take that back. Doesn't handle translation very well. I probably should dump transfer stage is what I should do. Gonna be nice and conservative with my velocity. Don't need to run into it. I'm gonna go ahead and slow down a bit in a couple of seconds. I just do not see any method of docking. It claims there's a Clampatron docking port junior. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Wish I could figure out where I'm supposed to attach to this thing. See if we can adjust our... Okay, so we're at least drifting away from it in a slightly... There we go. Wow. I actually zeroed out my velocity. This vehicle handles really, really well. Alright. So the game says that there is a Clampatron docking port here. I don't know about you guys, but I have not seen that. So I'm kind of not believing them. But I'm going to look again. Despite not believing them. Unless there's a... What are you? There's a structural tube here. Let me do something. I can't. Alright. I have a three-dimensional mouse that I use for 3D modeling, and you can also use it in Kerbal, and I was hoping maybe I could clip the camera through the vehicle, but it's not going to let me do that. Aha! I found it. Okay. I had to decouple that nose cone. And there's our docking port. So, where is... Hey! Awesome! Well, thank you. Where the heck did my other spacecraft go? There it is. I looked every direction but the direction it was in. Actually, I did look in the direction it was in. It was just that sneaky. Let's point this thing nowhere because we can't point it anywhere. This doesn't have any ability to control its orientation. So, we're going to leave that alone. We're going to maneuver relative to it. Okay. So, wrong way. Point relative to the target. And drift in. I think alignment-wise, we're pretty solid that way. Need to go down. I think we're lined up pretty good. Gonna approach as at a nice safe 0.2 meters per second. So we're off a bit. Not by much. Let's take a peek. That's pretty good. Feel like, nope, other way. Yeah. That's looking solid. Hey, there we go. We have docked successfully. Not bad. That thing, that they made a very, very well handling vehicle. So the rest of this mission is fairly simple. I think they said I needed to EVA Kerbal. Gus Kerman. What? The ship's auto-destruct has been activated? Why would you put that in the ship? Oh my god. Okay. Undocking. Click the right part. Okay. I've undocked. Point retrograde, and we're gonna do a burn. Yep, that's the new Gemini pod. You know what, I actually want to go prograde. Yeah, let me show you this. I'm gonna set a nice re-entry. That should be good. Not too harsh. Yeah, check this out. So they added a Gemini pod, and it looks perfect. Like, they nailed it. And kind of look inside a bit. I really like they put this little extra detail of you can kind of see the back side of it where all the equipment is hanging out. But from the interior, it looks really cool. Like, you could probably, I actually might have had an easier time doing the docking from in here, because this is lined up just perfectly for it. But I really enjoy what they did with the interiors. And they actually changed the interior of the Mark III pod as well. I haven't checked the Mark I pod yet to see if they did anything with that. I probably should look at it. But we are definitely on a return mission to Kerbin. I think we can safely ditch this. Oh, that looks really cool. I didn't even notice that before. And I bet you I could have just flown this. Let's get these Kerbals home real quick. Yeah, this was just, what, I think it came out today or late last night. So, this is very, very new. Alright, and we are decoupling service module. Don't need that anymore. Get these guys home. Yeah, it was just like today. I was excited. I completely forgot about it too. I got home. I was checking out another game. I was like, wait a minute. You telling me the Kerbal got updated? I'm gonna adjust this slightly. There we go. That should be a little less dark. Oh, that's kind of cool. Get the little shock cones off of the handles. I like that. And this is looking like, oh hey, I'm actually, they timed that. I'm actually very close flying over the Space Center right now. I should come down in the ocean somewhere a little east. This doesn't even have a re-entry shield. Looks like it's pretty durable on its own. I'll have to run this mission again sometime from first person, just to try it out. Should be fun. Pretty high up, going very fast. I'm going to crank the ambient light up just a bit so we can see a little better. Actually, it doesn't look like we can do that. That's interesting. Nope, there it is. It was already pretty high. Well, I think I said I was going to show you a nifty trick with that when you're doing a launch so you can get into a nice circular orbit. I think we'll whip together some little rocket real quick to launch into orbit. Alright, we're about 10 kilometers up. Deploy the chute soon. Let's put them out now. They're drogues. What altitude do those deploy at? 2,500. So as soon as the drogues go full, I'll deploy the main chute. And this will pretty much be in the bag. We can actually hold off deploying the main chute for a little while because we're still coming down really slow. I always seem to be re-entering on the night side of the planet. Because I'm surprised the service module made it all the way back to the surface. I guess that wasn't a very high energy re-entry. Alright, so I'm going to speed up time to get us to the surface so we can get that mission completion. We're about 50 meters up. Very exciting nighttime landing. So much to see and do. And it always seems to be where I end up landing. Hey, there we go. What? Failure? What did I do? I don't know what I did wrong. Let's see. It has no explanation for why it's telling me it's a failure. That's interesting. Oh well. Kerbals will return to the planet safely. I consider that success. There may still be a few bugs to work out. So let's see. We'll just go to this one. Actually, what the heck? We'll go to my main save. I have plenty of time to burn there. Going to be quite some time until I can do my planet missions, so... So, put a rocket in orbit. And simple. Doesn't even need to be fancy. Let's see, we'll do... Probably Probodobodine. Actually, we'll do one of these guys. Yeah, that'll work. Let's see. What do we have here? Probably just use one of the pre-built ones. Where are you? No, I don't really need that. What do you have? Yeah, that's my flag. You know what? I never use pre-mades. Let's throw something together real fast. Not that. The wrong pod. That's the one I want. Okay. Let's give it a battery. These. These little guys. Goodness gracious, that already has an enormous amount of delta V. Doesn't even need that much. Nope. There's a lot of different sizes of those. I have a feeling this is going to be more than sufficient. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is more than sufficient to get to orbit. That should be good. Yeah. So, little test rocket. Not much to it, but should be pretty useful. Staging looks good. So, if I launch this thing, I can show you a good way to get a nice circular orbit. I didn't even look at what my thrust to weight ratio is. No, just a lot of time playing Kerbal. I don't know how many hours I actually have in Kerbal. Logged in Steam, I've got 489, but I used to use multiple installs with different mod packs. I don't really do that anymore. You don't need to. But I've probably got somewhere around 800 or 900 hours in Kerbal, which is nothing compared to some people. Okay, so we're launching a rocket. And I'm pretty much going to let it fly itself into orbit. So I get up to about 135 meters per second, pitch it over 5 degrees, set it to follow the prograde, and keep the G-forces in between the first and second notch. And it is basically going to fly to orbit all on its own. I'm not even doing anything to it right now. This used to be a lot harder to pull off too, because rockets were super imbalanced, but once they did the thing where it balances the fuel properly between them all, it's like really easy to make one do this now. We've already passed through max Q, so we can go ahead and throttle up if we want. Maybe not too much, because we're getting some atmospheric heating. And we've already achieved an orbital altitude. We'll go up to 75. There we go. We're basically, we're coasting to our orbital height. So the trick that I like to use to get a nice circular orbit is I start by creating my node and giving it prograde. And what I'm looking for is when we get an apoapse and a periapse, as your periapse starts to approach where your apoapse is, you'll see the nodes start to rotate around the orbit. When they get to about this point where they're kind of halfway apart looking at what I'm doing here, so they're halfway around the circle relative to the maneuver I'm doing, you'll notice that one is 70 and that one is 80. Now I give it some radial out or in, depending on how it looks, until the nodes are lined up with the maneuver node. And now if we look at it, the periapse is 75 and the apoapse is 75 and some change. And that's the quickest, easiest way to get a circular orbit. And it probably is time for me to do that in 9 seconds. And we're doing our burn. Because when you're already really close to a circular orbit but you're not quite there, when you give it radial outward or inward inputs where you're burning, you do slightly away from or towards the surface you're orbiting, it tends to rotate the nodes around the orbit, and it tends to also drag them one way or the other, and it'll pull one lower, and I totally overshot there, but that's fine. Turn around real quick and fix that. Close enough. 74 by 75 and some change. Now what I should have been doing, I'll goof this up real quick, is what you want to do is when you get down to the wire and you're close to the end of your burn, you want to throttle down a bunch. Usually when a maneuver is close to done, depending on how big it is, the bar is going down, I'm close to being done with the burn, I'll throttle it down a little bit, throttle it down a little bit more. And by the time I'm on like the last little bit, tiny bit of the meter for how much burn I have left, I've throttled it down to almost nothing, and I just kind of zero out that last little bit of speed with minimal power. I don't know. I hope I explained that well. I apologize if I did not. Where's my satellite network? Must be an old save. I should have a satellite network in orbit. And how much Delta V? I have a lot of Delta V left, so I can do a transfer up into a higher burn and do it, or a higher orbit and do it one more time just to show you again. Oh, sure thing. I also find it helps if you look at your craft when you build it, especially if you're not using Kerbal Flight Engineer. I think the mod is called like Kerbal Engineer Redux, which is what all this is, where I have all this information. You should totally check it out. It is super duper useful because you can see everything. I mean, I can see apoapsis height, periapsis height, time to, all kinds of useful stuff about my vehicle. How much Delta V I have left, how much Delta V my maneuver node is, when I should start it. It gives you a lot of useful information, and I have it's kind of a gargantuan spreadsheet on my version, but you can actually get rid of a lot of the extra stuff that you may or may not actually want to use. And kind of strip it down to the bare minimum. But it's just a really helpful mod if you aren't already using it. And one thing I found that's really useful with launch vehicles and landers is if you build your craft and you look at the thrust to weight ratio on it and it's like something crazy like 7:1 or something like that, you can actually right click on your engine and lower the thrust output that it'll give you to lower that value. And I find that not having too much thrust to weight ratio makes your vehicles easier to control. Like I try to launch vehicles with I'm silly. I launch vehicles with really low thrust to weight ratios, like 1.2. That's not really necessary, but I like how it looks. But I usually don't try to launch something with higher than a 2:1 thrust to weight ratio, because it's easier to control it. Maybe a 3:1. I think. Don't quote me on this. Let me go to the main menu real quick. They actually have a button for that now. I remember... thought they did somewhere. I could be wrong. No, they have an add-ons and mods button. That add-ons and mods button takes you to the main mod page, and Kerbal Engineer is actually the third one on the list. Mods aren't too hard. You pretty much download the mod, and you drop the folder that the mod comes into your game data folder, wherever you have Kerbal installed. And most mods work out of the box like that. There are some that need more things, but a lot of them are pretty simple like that. I think there's even a tool now. I don't remember what it's called. You can install mods and it like helps you install them, but I've never really used it, so I don't even know what it's called. But if there's any mod worth using, it's definitely Kerbal Engineer. And I use some other ones, like I have some other fun ones. But let's do this save file. Like I have another one I'm fond of, but it's not always kept up to date. Promptly is RCS build aid here, which is like if I slap something together and I give it some monoprop and I stick some engines on it, it actually gives me kind of a graphical representation of where my center of mass is and how much my RCS is going to screw up my vehicle. So if I use it correctly, I can actually make it so that my RCS handles really well. So that's kind of a handy mod. Although you don't really need it. Just kind of makes something easier. I actually play, for parts, I pretty much play stock. I have a couple of mod packs that I like that add some cool things that look neat, but I don't do anything wacky. Let's see. I say... Thanks. I think I want to send this thing to the moon. Where's my... I want to send one of these to the moon. I don't think I'm going to go full Apollo right now. I don't know how easy it would be to slap this in my... No, I'm not going to do that yet. I do not feel like rebuilding this thing tonight. I am going to have to rebuild this, though. This is actually my best attempt at an Apollo mission that I ever did. Which I have a video saved on YouTube of this, and Twitch. It's my Apollo 11 engineering recreation, where I tried to get this vehicle as close to the engineering of the real vehicle as possible. Obviously it doesn't look like it, but like all of this information, how much each stage contributes to the climb to orbit, the thrust to weight ratios on all the engines, some of the margins of error for how much fuel I give each stage are all as close to the real vehicle as I could get them. And I did all the maneuvers as close to the real vehicle as I possibly could. There's a couple things they did in real life, maneuver-wise, that you can't do in Kerbal for various reasons. But I did a pretty good video of that. And I think now that this expansion is out, I'm going to do this again. But I'm going to do it with the new parts. But I'll probably build it on stream, but that'll take a little while to redesign all of that. But it should be pretty cool. In the meantime, though, I really want to land one of these lunar excursion modules on the moon, so I think I'm going to slap something together to do that. See what I would need to get him there. We got... One odd thing I noticed with the lunar excursion module when I was first playing with it is it has a slot here for a spark engine, and it is designed perfectly to give you just enough fuel to get off of the surface of the moon, back into orbit, and rendezvous with something. So it has a slot to mount it, but if you try to do that, it thinks that the spark engine is actually below it, and it puts the fairing up, and it's not really going to work right. But if you try, you'll notice there's a second mount point in there. If you try to move your mouse cursor up until it actually goes where it should, well, that time it worked. Half the time it doesn't work. It'll like just kind of drop it somewhere. If you hold it and move it and then let it go, it'll always work. It'll always stick it where you want it. It's a quirk with the build engine when you have multiple nodes on top of each other. So let's see what we can do with this. What do we got? It is. Kind of happening there too, actually. What do we got? Fuel tank. That'll do the trick. Probably could use more RCS fuel. Okay. Oh, that's really big. I don't want to use that. Wish they would have given me an engine that's like an analog for the actual descent engine. That would have made me really happy. I guess we still have the Terrier. Not bad. So where was that? I definitely feel like this is supposed to be the landing stage engine. Or fuel tank, rather. It gives a good amount of fuel. I don't think it's enough, though. How much battery power does this have? 150? Does it have any way to generate power? That is like super compact and nice looking. Where's my... It should be enough. 28.32. Yeah, those are good enough values for me. Need some way to generate power, though. The rest of this guy put out. Oof. About that. Seems to be the engine. That looks really good. Let's see then. What else do I need? How much does this have reaction wheels? This does not have reaction wheels. Interesting. I feel like I want just a hair more fuel out of this thing, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. Do I have any other nifty options for that? I feel like a dumpling external tank might work. Maybe. Maybe not. Those are kind of cool. That's the only thing I'm missing from this mod pack. I feel like there should have been something analogous to the descent stage. Right amount of boom. How much does that get me? That's too big. I don't like that. Do this. Tried and true. Stuffing tanks into tanks. That's a little more like it. A lot more comfortable with that amount of fuel. What? We have mini monoprop tanks now? That's really neat. I like that. I like that a lot. How many units of monoprop am I carrying? Well, welcome back. Sitting here fretting over small details on this goofy thing. That works for me. Oop, that's not gonna work. That's not really gonna work either. This will be an interesting vehicle. Let's give it... I really don't know how much monoprop I want this to have. 50 units. It's got 30 right now. Those are really... Wow, this thing is really small. I'm amazed by how small this is. That should do. Kind of stuff these in here for the sake of looks. Feel like... I guess it doesn't really need batteries since it doesn't really have anything to drain them. Probably be sufficient. That looks pretty good. Better engine for this. Nope. I believe this is what this was designed to be paired with. Look at this little mini tank. Pretty good vehicle. This should be more than capable of landing without incident. We need to put a docking port on it though. It uses a junior port. That's interesting. Huh. Thing is very small. Let's see. So save that for now. A command pod. Oh, you know what? I want to see, what did my command pod have before? Exactly, well, about a kilometer per second of delta V. Okay. Let's see, we need a heat shield. Probably be handy. I need something to adapt this so that I can do Lampatron Jr. I have an idea for that. I'd like to be able to stuff the parachutes in here too, if at all possible, but I don't know if they'll work. So big. Like that. I know what to do. Like that might work. Wish that was hollow. It had parachutes in it. Real option for that though. And Clampatron Jr. Ooh, I can do something fun with this thing too. Parachutes. As long as it doesn't block the docking port, it should be fine. Change the orientation of that. There we go. That looks better. Throw one of you on there. Okay. Let's do a little staging. There we go. Build a service module. Yep. Yeah. If I could do this, this would be kind of fun if I can. That's cool. I'm digging that. The real Apollo had a actually did have a nose cone fairing. Now it protected the command module while they were going up, and it actually went away with the launch escape tower. So when the launch escape tower jettisoned, it actually pulled that off with it. But I've tried that before, and it's an enormous pain in the butt. Don't think do it. Well, maybe. I want to test this. Could be really neat, or really bad. I'm not sure which. I don't like that. That looks better. Two sides, clamshell deploy if we need to. This could be fun. Test this. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't set up the group to do it. This is easier to do with an action group. Group 1. Couple node. Activate. Alright. See what this does. Ah! Sweet. That actually worked. First time I ever got that to work. That looked really neat. Okay, we're doing that. Now we need a service module. I need 1,000 meters per second of delta V. Because they actually added a service module. It's in here somewhere. Let me find it. My problem with it is I don't like it. I have an idea on that. Probably also help if I could remember where the heck it was. So this is, if I can find it, it's one of the new parts they added. Now I don't remember where it went. Here it is. Oh, they have a short one. Oh, that's even better. Oh wait, but it's tiny. Oh, that's for the Gemini mission. Okay. So, my beef with this is that it's really kind of too big. But it's an actual honest-to-goodness service module in which you can put things. Keep your craft all nice and tidy and clean looking. So it would be something like this. Kind of too big. Could be a little shorter. Not really a problem though. Well, that would definitely be enough fuel. But probably not, because it also needs monoprop. Let's see. Monoprop. Probably doesn't need that much monoprop though. That would still be enough fuel to do its mission. I don't even need to put anything in here. But I will. I want this to have just a hair extra fuel. I have a very good reason for that. That I'm going to put in a generator, or rather a fuel cell array, and also a really good battery. This way. How much does it screw up the... Not by much. I generate 1.5 a second. More than sufficient. Yeah, we'll put two of them in there. Why not? It's not a bad thing. And then... How big is the batteries in this? 150. I mean, that should be more than sufficient for what I'm doing with it. That looks good. I think it's pretty cool. Put some RCS on it. Oh, it already has its own RCS. Forgot about that. Don't want to use that. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I'm glad you've been enjoying this. It's actually pretty late here too, so I should probably stop this madness. Now, while the stopping is good, I have a good design for a command module and a good design for a lander. Have a good one. Probably go ahead and end this here now for the moment. Maybe tomorrow I'll slap together something to launch this. Although eventually I'm going to build something way, way more complicated. That's the important part, really, is getting your orbit messed up by 200 kilometers. That's the key. Been there, done that. Just irking me that this is so long. It's just a bit too long. But what can you do? Oh, I know why that was off. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my stream there, because it is fairly late where I am. And I do need to sleep sometime. I know if I keep messing with this, I'm just going to keep messing with it, because I really love Apollo stuff. And building Apollo things in Kerbal was really fun. So that will have to be for my next Kerbal stream. If you are still watching, I hope you've been enjoying. And if you want to, go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, depending on the platform you're on. And you know, check me out again sometime. I play this. I play a couple other games. I play some strategy games. There are other space-related things I play from time to time. And just kind of whatever else is interesting at the moment. I've also been checking out a couple of indie games recently, so probably do some of that too here in the near future. Anyway, have a good evening, and I hope you enjoyed.